Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Haziq bin Haspiruddin, and I am from Part 6 in CS245, which is in Computer Science in Data Communication and Networking. Today, I will present to you about my final year project, which is titled of the Networking Automation Model using Scada System. So, my supervisor will be Dr. Nurul Huda binti Nik Zulkifli. So, we start with the first slide, which is on the problem statement of this project. So for the problem statement, there are some students that may facing several challenges during when they are learning computer networking courses. So basically, the computer networking courses really needs to facing several challenges, and some of the countries which can be mentioned of the poor countries will have difficulties in getting access to internet services while in learning of computer networking courses. So they need the expensive internet to get so that they can access the courses. So the next one will be the computer networking concepts have been found on difficulties when some of the motivating students experience that learning in this course are really because the overall of the syllabus technically too dry and a bit boring. So this is because in computer networking courses, most of students have not feeling happy when they study in this course. Although they have been motivating it or not, it is a proof that there is problem in teaching methods that should be implemented. For the impact, the new teaching methods can boost their morale and mentality in learning the subjects, especially on the computer networking subjects. Next, we go to the project objective. So the project objective will be to develop the industrial automation networking model using Scada system, and the second one will be to test whether the network performance of the system through the measure is it good or not, and to make through the measure of the network latency. And then I will explain to you a bit of the Scada system is actually about. So the Scada system is called as supervisory for controlling and data acquisition, called Scada. It's a system that is designed in computer base that function for monitoring and controlling the whole system that happen in the industrial automation application, that mostly in hardware and software components. They also actually apply on most of the industrial application, whether it is pipelines, transport oil and gas, aqueducts and distribution systems, provided drinking water, production of foods and drinks, and the distribution of electricity. Next, we will go to the project scope of this project. So this project will be targeted for the user that categorized as a students. Any students can use this system, and for the hardware components that have been used, such as personal computers, programmable logic controller, and the water level sensors. And for the software components will be used like TeamViewer server, TeamViewer software, CX designer, and CX programmer. The CX designer used for the developing of the Scada system, and for the CX programmer will be used as to programming the ladder diagram for the industrial automation. And for the TeamViewer software will be used as a remote desktop for the client computer and the server computer. Next, what is the significance of this study? So for the project developer, we will gain benefits on the researching network knowledge that implement on automation application. So for the students, they also can learn on by the increasing the motivation and the interest in learning the automation networking application. So we go to the next slide, which is on the steps for the user to apply the system. So we start with installing the TeamViewer software, so that they will provide as a platform for the user to use the remote desktop server to access the server computer from the client computer, and then the user will access the website, to gain the user ID and the password details, which is details of the server computer, and then it needs the username and the password to access this website. So the user should be registered first before they can use this system, and then the user will access the website through the user login, and it will access details of plans are provided for user to access the server, and then the user will log in on the TeamViewer, and it will apply Scada system for each remote desktop. Next, for the logical diagram, we will explain to you about how this works. So firstly, we will start with the local area network, which we will try the client computer and the server computer in localhost first, and to connect each other, and then we start to connect the system through the internet, so that the user from far away from the remote location, the plant location, will be easy to use this system. So we will implement the TeamViewer software so that they can use the remote desktop software to control and monitoring the Scada system on the client computer. So the plant site will be used as the example of the application that I have developed is the plant for the water level tank system. Next, what are the network elements that exist in this system? So it will apply on the client server connection through the wide area network, and which depends on different connection, whether the Wi-Fi connection used for server and the cellular data for client, and the connection between PLC and the PC's servers require line connection using serial communication data transfer, or called as RS-232, to the medium of the universal serial bus. So let's proceed with to the next slide, which is on the what student can learn about the system. So they can learn on how to apply the network knowledge in real world, especially in industrial automation, in the project apply using remote desktop approach. They also can learn implement security feature, which to secure information such as password and the username. It also expose on a simple automation application that apply on industry, and they also can learn about the Scada system, which is valuable knowledge as the key features on IIoT. It means that IoT means that the industrial Internet of Things. Next, student also can expose to learn the overall data acquisition flow from hardware of industrial automation system. Lastly, student also can get knowledge which is in a gray area of the discipline of knowledge. Means that the connection between the network knowledge and the industrial automation knowledge will be connected. It will be applied both knowledge on the future career. So this can give benefits on the students to learn and explore the networking knowledge and the industrial application industrial automation knowledge. So let's go to next section, which is on the demonstration. So next we go to the demonstration of the system. So I will use ngrok application to make a functionality of the web hosting for my local host application of website to the internet, so that the system can be used on the internet, so the user can use it on further from the plant site. So the first page that the user can uh, can observe is the login panel, which needs for the registration user to enter the username and the password of the user. And then the first one will be I will demonstrate on the admin account, so the admin will redirect to the home page of the, so it will show the 12 to the list of the users that have been registered under the system. So this is the list of the users that have been used in my system. So the admin can use this system to make CRUD systems, which is creating, read, update and delete the records from the website. And then the admin will be can be categorized the user role to be registered under the admin role or user role. This will differentiate on the user whether it is user and the admin. Then we will log in through an account of the user. The user that have been registered before this should be logged in to the system, and then it will appears of the greetings and the procedures to use the system. And then in the below it will appears of the access details, which requires user ID and the password for the server computer. From the user, we can also edit profile on changing our profile picture and change our username. So this is the user interface from the TeamViewer software. So user can be able to access the server computer from the client computer. And the black background shows that the client or user have access on the server computer. Then it appears on the water level system, which apply on the industrial automation. So when we I just make a simple of industrial automation application, which the interface will be click the button, pump on off button, and when the user click the pump on off button, it will rises the water level in the multi-level liquid tank. The green pipe indicates that the water flows from the reservoir to the multi-level liquid tank, and it fills until certain level. It will until certain level. When we click again on the pump on off button, it will decreases the water level in the multi-level liquid tank, and the grey color shows from the pipe that the water doesn't flow in, doesn't fill on the multi-level liquid tank. So and it will refill on the reservoir, which react to hold the excess of water supply. Next, we go to the result of the network test. So based on this graph, the network testing had been undergoes in a server computer using network monitoring tool, which called as OpQO application software. Based on the graph, the network performance recorded to observe the network latency in the server computer. During the for the part of the average network latency for the server computer, the tool recorded that about 193.8 millisecond, which led on the network connectivity problem. The factors might be the current location of the server computer is in weak region of internet connectivity, with the speed of Wi-Fi connection is quite low. To overcome the problem, users should be in higher speed connectivity internet area to get the optimum speed access of the web server without facing any problem related on the network. So, for the last slide, the conclusion, the networking automation model using Scada system was successfully finished setup and achieved the aim and objectives that had been stated earlier. The application for user to monitor and control the system implant system through client-server connection with the help of the user interface from the Scada system. Developing of the client-server connection gives an advantage in implementing the current technology for accessing plant system through the production of the low-cost system projects. So that's all from me. Thank you and have a nice day.